Hey, how's your heart today? There is still time on the clock. Days when a few hours beside you felt enormous. You, clever as you are, must have known how I treasured every second. How I squandered it by measuring it against a fear I couldn't name. I should have kept it simpler. I should have let those moments be what they were. Warm and foolish and enough. Instead, I worried about the ending. A future split that, in the end, arrived almost exactly as I'd feared. I was never short of company. I could have found someone else that evening. Another voice, another laugh. I might have loved for distraction, for the small consolation of feeling wanted. Maybe that's the life men like me are supposed to live. Loose affections, temporary refuges, brief light to keep the dark at bay. And still, why is it always you? Why does your name circle back like a tide? Why does the heart remain stubborn, choosing the same ache again and again? Perhaps I loved poorly. Perhaps you chose the wrong person. Maybe that's the cruel loop we kept running. I don't call this feeling sad anymore. Sadness would be honest and nameable. What sits with me is a quieter thing. A slow dullness that pads the corners of my days. Fills my room, fills my chest. A hollow fatigue that tastes like old weather. If only it could be crueler and final, not lingering. If only memory could be shut away like a door. I do not permit nostalgia to enter easily. I have tried to keep its roots shallow so they won't choke me. I am exhausted by my own existence. Inflated worries, catastrophes imagined into being. Maybe I should choose something grander than hiding. Not to close my eyes, not to block my ears, not to practice silence as a shield. Use reason, so no one can cut through me again. If I cannot rescue myself, who else will? And then the terrifying truth. I do not know how to save myself. Worse, somewhere in the quiet of my chest, I realize I do not want to know. Is dying like this somehow easier? Is sleep that never ends a mercy, compared to waking with this ache? There is still time on the clock. There are days when everything feels lighter. When I am not late for anyone, not suspicious, not waiting for your arrival. I am not hollow. I simply breathe, blessed by the luck of ordinary joy. I would rather be the one who refuses to listen to complicated confessions, who answers with a simple, I understand, even when I don't. I would rather be the fool who smiles too easily and watches people leave, and is quietly glad for their freedom. Better than to lie trapped between the three hands of the clock, existing only within those empty slices of time. Have you ever seen a person like that in me? Someone who might have been better, if given the chance. Someone who wrecked what he had in a clumsy attempt at being loved. That difference, my flaw, is terrifyingly ordinary. I keep loving, day after day, with the same awkward devotion. But I know this: if not you, I will not love in the same way. There was a season when ours with you measured like continents, when a laugh could fill a whole afternoon, when I believed in the unremarkable holiness of two people passing time together. You must have noticed how I treasured those seconds. You must have known I was both present and elsewhere, trying to hold on to what I feared losing. I should have learned to let go sooner, to be lighter in my hands. And yet I stayed, not because I thought I was indispensable, but because the shape of you fit the shape of me. We were two unfinished things, trying to fit without the right tools. Sometimes I dream of a cleaner life. No suspicion at the doorway, no counting down moments like coins. Just the slow, irresponsible pleasure of being unafraid. I would be the man who takes joy at face value, who hears goodbye and smiles aloud for the other's brave decision. I would rather be too hopeful than forever numbed. I would rather be reckless with grace than careful with my heart. And if someone cannot stay, I will celebrate their leaving, not out of malice, but as witness to their courage to choose themselves. You have seen someone like that, haven't you? A version of me who could have been gentler, stronger, kind enough to keep what mattered. If you chose differently, maybe you saved me from myself. If you chose poorly, maybe I am the one who needed saving. Day by day I keep loving, not the flash, not the pastime, but the stubborn, ridiculous habit of an answering heart. And even if it is flawed, even if it burns me, I will not stop insisting that love allowed me to be less alone. If not you, then who? If not this, then what pattern will break the loop? These questions sit like quiet embers beneath everything I do. There is still time on the clock, and with it, small mercies. The cup of morning light, a stranger's unremarkable kindness, the ridiculous pleasure of a song that makes me remember youth. These tiny things stitch me up, little by little. I do not have a map for what comes next. Maybe there is no map. Perhaps life is a sequence of imperfect attempts, and grace is the name we give to the attempts that leave us whole. If this voice reaches you, know this. I loved you with an honesty that frightened me. I loved you in the only language I knew, clumsy and stubborn. If you were not mine to keep, then my loving was still true. True in the way that seasons are true, inevitable and brief. There is still time on the clock. Use it, if you can. Spend it on the small bright things. Let them teach you how to keep living when the rest feels like forgetting. Awake your power, even if that power is only to stand up and breathe. Even if that power is to love badly and keep loving anyway. Because some lives are made not of perfection, but of the courage to continue.